Welcome, Sungi. It's great to have you here with us today in our Girls in Tech Rebel Stories chat session.
Thank you.
And
such an honor to be here.
And Anushka for joining me as our co-MD from Girls in Tech. It's just brilliant to be able to sit with you today, Sungi, and hopefully share some of your stories with our Girls in Tech members. I have the great pleasure of working with you on the Woolworths Financial Services team, where you fulfill the role of software architect. And so we're just looking forward to asking you a couple of questions, and I'm really hoping it's going to serve to inspire some young girls who potentially get to listen to your story today.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, thanks for the lovely introduction, Monique. Hi, Sungi. So lovely to meet you. Monique has been telling us weird and wonderful and amazing things about you. Okay, maybe not the weird part.
I could believe it if it was weird.
We are really, really excited to have you being part of our Rebel Story series. So I've heard that you're a solutions architect at Woolworths Financial Services, which really, really amazes me to see women doing amazing things in tech and women fulfilling the role of solutions architect, because I must say that's like big shoes to fill. So well done on your achievements and well done on getting so far, and a bigger well done on having people like Monique saying wonderful things about you. But I'm really curious to know, how did you get into the specialized field as a solutions architect?
Okay, thanks guys. You guys are so kind. Your words are so kind. But really, how I got here, I think two things: saying yes to learning and opportunities, and just having people who surrounded me, who put me into positions that forced me to grow and forced me to learn new experiences. I began my journey as a software developer. I think I was a Java software developer is what I was employed as. I worked at a startup, and if the joys of working at a startup is you have one role, but you wear so many hats. And so through that, I learned a lot of the different roles that play into being into the software development lifecycle. And I remember my one manager came to me and said, "Hey, I think you're being underutilized as a developer." And I was like, "What do you mean? Am I not good at my job?" And he was like, no, you are good at your job. There are just other places where you could outshine yourself, you know? And I think that's when he insisted that I go into systems integrations and systems analysis, and I got to shadow the solution architect at the time. That's when I found out about solutions architecture. I've never heard about it because, you know, you go to school, I studied computer science and chemistry, and no one tells you that you could be a solutions architect at one point in time in your life. So I'm there, I'm working with our solution architect at the time. His name is Owen, and I was just gleaning from him. He was willing to teach me, and I was willing to learn. And so I learned so much on the job. And then he threw me into the deep end and gave me a portfolio of financial services clients to do integrations for and analysis for. And somehow I swam. I call it my fake swimming. It's fake it until you make it. I'm a big believer in that. Just show up and do it. Be courageous, and just, if you fail, you fail, and it's okay, you know? And so that's what I did for a while. And after that, I then transitioned into solution architecture because of a client who really believed in me, people who surrounded me, who pushed me into that role. And so I think it is definitely a combination of the people who knew better than I did, who called out in me what I didn't see in myself and forced me to go into those spaces. It's saying yes to opportunities that feel right, and where the passion is, I like to follow the passion, is what I say. And so I followed the passion. I enjoy bridging that gap between technology and business. I love talking to people. I love big picture. I also love really, really tiny details. And somehow it works to my strengths, honestly. And so I think that's where I am here. And it's a lot of trust. It's a trust game, right? So I feel honored to be entrusted, really, with what people have thrown in my direction. So I think that is how I got here.
What a cool message, that to just be willing to say yes. I really like that. And to look so stylish while doing it. Good lesson. I think that's a brilliant thing for all of us to know, to say yes when the opportunity comes up. what always interests me is knowing where you are now, at the age that you're at now. Is there anything you would tell your teenage self? Looking back.
Lots of things. Especially when you say my teenage self, because there are lots of things I would tell my teenage self. But the number one thing I think I would definitely tell her is, you lose nothing by serving other people, showing kindness, and helping someone else to win. Because I went to an all-girls school and we had a lot of competition. And in the midst of that competition, I wouldn't say it was healthy competition, because it was one man for himself and we're pushing for our own agendas. And what that taught me was, hey, you're out for looking out for you. And through the years, as I've worked in a team and I've worked with multiple different people, I realized that you lose nothing. There's room at the table for every single one. And there's room at the table for you to be fully yourself and to show up, and you can help someone else be their best selves. And that's how we win. And so I think that is the number one thing I would tell myself. It's okay. Lift someone else up. It'll work itself out for you.
Wow, that's amazing. That's such a lovely message. And I'm definitely taking that back to my team when we're done here. Sungi, what is the biggest factor that led to your success?
I find this question very difficult, but I think staying. And I find it difficult because the one thing that I tried to go against, which was staying in one place and with one company and with one client for a long time, is actually, I think, the one thing that led to my success. Is the ability to stay when it's hard. It's staying when there's a bigger number out there, because a job is more than just the compensation. And staying when, you have this idea of where you should be and how people should be treating you. And you want to run to find the greener grass somewhere else, but staying to cultivate what you have there, staying to learn what there is to learn there, and staying to continue to grow in the same direction with the people that are around you, I think has allowed me to deepen my relationships. And that has allowed me to be successful, I'd say, where I am. I don't know, does that make sense?
Staying,
So I think stay.
absolutely. I love it.
Yeah, I think our culture has also taught like people our generation that like if you job hop, you can get the next big salary, you can job hop and do this. But I don't necessarily think that leads to a level of success that is fulfilling. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Well, as somebody who works with you, let me just say thank you for staying. I'm very happy that you've stayed. Staying has a starting point. And so if I was in high school listening to this interview, or even sort of early stage tertiary education, and trying to figure out what is it that I need to study to do what you do, because there's so many roles. If I had to ask you that question, what would you advise me to do?
So I'm a degreed individual. So my first answer for that would always be go get yourself a computer science degree. And I say that because I think during the course of that degree, I did computer science and chemistry, but that taught me problem solving. It taught me a certain way of thinking. But I also realized that there are lots of people in the tech space that are not degreed. And that's because the beauty of the tech space is it allows you to go and research and understand what all the different components are that where you can fit in, find something that you're interested in, and then apply yourself to it, right? Do the courses, do the things online. I think technologies online are free. You have AWS that's giving you a year free to play around in that space. You have Udemy courses. There's just there's a world of resources out there that allow you to upskill yourself and self-learn. And tech, I think, is one of the few industries that definitely allows that. It definitely allows self-learned, self-educated people to succeed and to thrive. And that's rare. So I think that would be my first thing is if you don't want to get a degree, go ahead and find yourself a course that you want. Just do research and understand. Just don't do something,
I like that suggestion though, that if you do want to go down the degree route, that computer science is a good foundation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the chemistry, but yeah, the computer science.
Everyone can do with a little bit of chemistry. So thank you for that point. I mean, you are so right. There's so many skills that can be learned without having a degree. And thanks for pointing out an example in terms of AWS and the free 1 year membership, where people can go and learn so much and start adding value. So, a very valid point for not just matriculants, but I think for all South Africans and for anyone looking at this video. So, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, Sungi, Girls in Tech is an international organization, and we're trying to bring about some kind of equality when it comes to gender equality in the tech field. This organization is global, it's got 60,000 members already, and we're really glad that Marius, our guy in the Girls in Tech, you know, has brought Girls in Tech to South Africa and has recruited a team of us to really try to change this dial when it comes to gender equality within girls in the tech field.
Yeah.
So we as directors of Girls in Tech are really excited to be here trying to move that dial. But I'd like to hear what excites you most about Girls in Tech SA.
I think I'm always excited when people are coming to fulfill to fill that space of like gender diversity and technology. That will always excite me, and that excites me specifically in South Africa because when we grow up, I think, well, for me, when I dream a referenced dream, and what I mean by that is I look at what someone else has done and I reference that as my point of dreaming. And I think very seldom do you find people who dream beyond that. And so when you find Girls in Tech,
Did Sungi just freeze?
I think so. We might be having technical difficulties on our technical Girls in Tech interview. Let's just give it another second to see if the load shedding issues resolve themselves. Otherwise, what we'll do is pause it and then we can recontinue.
Okay. Now we're back.
There you are, Sungi.
Yeah, I could hear you, but I could see I was the only one moving. So I was like, wait.
Tech teaches resilience. I think we lost you at just referring to the referencing the dream.
Right. When you have a reference dream. And I think when a safe space is created for women to be able to be heard, to listen to other women, and to be able to see other women do things that you've only ever seen a man do, you get to dream that. And I think for the young girl child in South Africa, what Girls in Tech South African chapter does is it says, hey, someone else is doing it, hey, I can do it too. And that is exciting. That is exciting when you bring a new, it's almost like when you bring a new path into someone's life and you say, hey, you only had 4 parts. You now have a 5th one because someone else has gone before you and has done it. And that's wildly, wildly exciting for me. And I'm so excited because I think the more companies and more NGOs that are playing in that space, the more that you have corporates being forced to shift the dial, to have the conversations in the boardrooms, to have the conversations amongst each other and amongst people to say, hey, this is important. And that I'm there for it. I'm there for that.
Well, I think we're delighted as Girls in Tech that you're along for the ride with us. This time in particular is obviously unprecedented. So what we're experiencing at the moment during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's global, but particularly in your team in the Woolworths financial services space, building out the application, I'm assuming you've had quite a bit of experience with working remotely. Is there anything from a team or a personal perspective that you can say has been really challenging or perhaps has even presented new opportunities as a result of this experience?
For sure. I'll start with the challenges first. Something that still challenges me now, and I'm looking, if anyone's got answers to this, please let me know. How do you preserve culture in a world where people are online? That I think is such a constant battle right now where we're all facing different. We're all facing different, and company culture used to be the thing that if you were in the same room, it was just so much easier to foster. And now you're online, and how do you do that? I think that is a big challenge from a people perspective. From my own, like watching people work and working with other people, is we don't know when to stop. You're now at home working and there is no, oh my gosh, I need to leave because of traffic. and that's your cutoff point, right? And then, because it is, it allows you to disengage for a little bit, depending on how far you're driving. In my case, 15 minutes. But it allows you, it gives you that backstop and also allows you a starting time. Whereas now, you wake up, you could roll over and you'd starting work immediately, and you don't know when to stop. And I think that's a big challenge. From an opportunities perspective, I do think that for the business, it's accelerated the digital roadmap, 100%. There would be no other time that would have done what COVID-19 has done to our digital roadmap, where suddenly something that was on the back burner is the highest priority. I'm grateful for that. But I'm also grateful that I can manage my own day. I went through the whole spirals of overworking, trying to find a happy medium, going down to being so overwhelmed to be unproductive at all. And now I'm kind of in a space where I have rhythms to my day. I realize that I can dance to my own tune during the day. I take a walk in the morning, I start work, I go on, and I do have a backstop. Well, I try to have a backstop. Very few people think I do have one, but yeah.
Thanks.
Those are some of the.
I mean, I want to say thanks for being so candid about that, because I think a lot of people have battled, perhaps even mental health wise, during this time to find their rhythm, and it is difficult, that switch off. So thanks for sharing that, because I think it's good for people to hear, and I'm glad you seem to have found your rhythm.
It's a pendulum sometimes.
I read a good article about during the beginning of lockdown, people actually talking to astronauts to find out how did they survive, time in isolation, being in a rocket ship. And it sounds like you found your astronaut groove.
Nicely put. And thanks for sharing that, because I actually have learned something from you now as well, which I can definitely take out. And I think that is, find your rhythm such that you can still deliver. And I think a lot of us just go like, chaos, firefighting. Come on, let's be the next firefighter. But actually it's like, find your rhythm. It's okay. Find your groove.
It's so unsustainable, right?
Absolutely. So thank you. I learned from you again.
Brilliant. Well, from my side, we don't have any more scripted questions for you, but Sunganani Silubonde, thank you for your time. And it's I love working with you. I'm pretty sure everyone who's going to listen to this interview is going to find some form of inspiration. If you're a young learner listening to this interview and you're suddenly hearing the word software architect or solutions architecture for the first time, go and Google it, find out about it. It's an amazing career space in the tech industry. And I certainly would encourage you to go and explore it, whether it's degreed or whether it's through short courses. And I hope everyone's enjoyed this. Thank you, Sungi, for your time. And thanks, Anushka.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sungi. Take care. Bye-bye.